What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Get the Puck Out podcast. Today we have a special guest, ECHL big star Todd Skirving. Thanks for joining us today, Todd.
Thanks for having me.
Um, so you play with Newfoundland, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. What made you fall in love with hockey?
Well, I was born with skates on up in Canada. Uh, I think just from an early age, going down, I started skating when I was 3. Going down the block or two there with my parents, my grandma, and just pushing a chair around. And at the time, I was playing baseball and hockey. Once I got around 11, 12 years old, when I made a travel team for hockey, is when I chose between hockey and baseball. But it kind of started young, and here I am at 31 now, still kicking. So it's been a lot of fun.
That's good. Um, so we have a couple questions from a couple of your fans from Newfoundland. Um, William asked, "What is your favorite hockey stick to use?"
The ones I got now. No. Growing up, I was a big Bauer guy. And then obviously, as you play juniors, get into the pro ranks, there's team sponsors and whatnot. So at college, we were a Bauer sponsor, which was huge. I used the Bauer Nexus at the time. And then kind of when you get to the ECHL level, you kind of use what the sponsorship is. Right now, we have Warriors. Um, this past season, I was fortunate. Horns hooked me up with a few sticks of my own. So yeah, now I'm using Warrior as of right now, but they're pretty similar. If I had a preference, I'd probably use Bauer, but the Warriors have been doing pretty well for me lately, so I guess I'll stick with those.
Okay. So you got called up to the Marlies this past season. How
Yeah,
was how was that call up for you? How did it feel? Was it an emotional roller coaster or like?
yeah, it was pretty crazy. We just came back from our Florida Norfolk trip, and it was a Sunday night. I remember getting off the plane, had a missed call from Ryan Hardy. Hardy and the Leafs organization over the years have been pretty good at just kind of congratulating me when I reach certain milestones or if we have a good stretch of games. I just scored my 30th on the road, so I figured that's why he was calling me. To be honest, I jokingly said in my head, "Oh, I'm probably getting called up." Little did I know, I called him back, no answer. He called me right back within a minute or two there, and he kind of just went over the kind of few of the conversations we had from the summer previous, and said he wanted me in the lineup on Wednesday. Asked what I thought about that, and I kind of just said, like, let's go. Like I couldn't really believe it. I had no hesitation. Little did everyone else know is my parents are flying in the next night to Newfoundland for the upcoming games against I think it was Trois. So anyways, I get off the phone. I call my dad and I kind of just said my parents and I said, I have good news and bad news. What do you want first? I said, well, the bad news is I might not be here when you get here tomorrow. I said the good news is I'm getting called up to Toronto, and they kind of couldn't believe it. But yeah, it was a great moment. I reached out to the Leafs, and long story short, they actually flew me and my parents out together on Tuesday. Flew us all into Hartford for the game, and then flew us all back out here to Newfoundland for the 3 game series. So it happened real quick. I kind of wish it lasted a little bit longer. I will say it was a lot of fun. I tried to soak in as much as possible, ask questions, just kind of enjoy the moment. Didn't really change who I was. As some guys know, I walked into my first American League game with my speaker like I do at every ECHL game. Just try to be myself, have fun, keep it loose, and yeah, it was a cool experience. Very thankful for Ryan Hardy for kind of making that happen, and the Leafs taking care of my parents and I.
Well, that's good that they got your parents out there. Because your dad, I was talking to your dad because he has me on Facebook, and
Mhm.
I have to say, your dad's an outstanding, amazing guy. He loves to talk.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you ever see his social media, he's on Facebook, I think 24/7, 365. I don't even know if he sleeps sometimes.
I don't think he sleeps. 'Cause every time I wake up in the morning, it's like a post from 5, 6, 7 hours ago. Like he's just up. But he's a good
I know.
guy.
Yeah, I know when I have a lot of notifications on Facebook, I don't have to usually go to them too quick because it's probably just my dad posting a picture on my wall or whatnot. I know I'll get to it at some point, so I know
He's
it's not
always
too urgent.
tagging you and stuff. He's always tagging you.
Yeah, he's always tagging me. Sometimes I'm like, Dad, I could see that, right? You don't need to tag me. Like if you post it on my wall, I know you don't have to tag me and put it on my wall.
That's- So I know you started the t-shirts last year, right? For your father for the cancer research stuff like that.
Yep.
Can you explain to people what made you do that? Because there's probably some people out there that don't know about it. If that's okay.
Yeah, so I've been growing like the scurvy. It's got a name since think it was my second year in Sioux Falls. Might have been my first year in Sioux Falls. Back when I was like 19, 20, I can kind of grow it. And then I've been growing it throughout the years, different points depending on where I'm playing. I've raised some money and whatnot. Then this year it hit closer to home with my dad being diagnosed with prostate cancer on September 8th. So yeah, we ended up Paul Oder designed an image to put on a shirt. Niall and Brendan Hickey at the embassy were able to come on board and purchase the first batch of shirts, and then we used Saltwater Designs with Caitlin Noseworthy. So it turned out really good. I know it gave my dad a lot of strength. It was pretty cool just to see the feedback that we had. I know some people didn't get shirts, which I apologize for. I hope but we reimbursed them. Just things kind of happened real quick, and it was our first time doing it. But yeah, then Dean McDonald came on board with a big $5,000 donation early on as well. So that kind of got wrapped up about 2 weeks ago, and we made the $10,000 donation to the Daffodil Place here in St. John's. I know, just $10,000 alone allows someone who's going through treatment at least 100 nights to stay at that place. We took a tour of it. It's pretty cool. They get their meals every day. It's pretty homey. Kind of feels like Nan's house. It's got kind of everything that you'd want during treatment. So very rewarding. My dad and my mom were just happy that we're able to kind of use the situation to help make a difference in other people's lives. So we're pretty happy with it. And depending on what happens in the upcoming years, we might do a little bit more with it.
That's good that you got that donation of money to help other people out. So this comes from Adirondack Thunder fan, so hope you're ready for this
Yeah.
one. Dakota, he's Adirondack Thunder fan. He asked, "How do you feel about playing against Adirondack, especially with Section N in your ear?"
Probably one of the hardest places to play. I mean, even going into playoffs, I just remember they get a good crowd all year long. It's their 1,000, 2,000 fans can sound like 10,000. So when playoffs are coming, I just knew this was going to be one of the best atmospheres we were going to play in, and I knew it's tough. I mean, they can kind of take over the game. It feels like sometimes if ADK gets a goal quick, which I feel like some more times than not they do, that crowd's in your ear nonstop, and it doesn't matter if they're down 5 or up 5. It's nonstop for the most part. So they have a really good fan base. They're very passionate. They've had a lot of hockey over the years. Like I said, I kind of enjoy going there. It's a little old school, I'd say. They got a good bait fan base, and like I said, they're passionate, they're loud, and they can really get under your skin sometimes. So I have a lot of fun with them. I've kind of got to know a few of them in that section over the years. Almost feels like family sometimes. I try to make a point of getting to know fans and all the away barns, and the ones that give you the time of day. So you have a little fun with them. You trip them back every now and then. Spray them with water, have a little fun with it. But no, fans are important to the game. That's who we're playing for. They make the games fun. As I say, the seventh man in the stands, and I'd say ADK probably has one of the better fan bases in the ECHL.
So Section N, you just go with it, basically. You just
What's that?
Section N, you just listen to them, hear them chirp you.
Yeah, every now and then they might get a little under my skin. I might give it back, but there's a few good ones up there, and I like to play around. And it's pretty funny some of the things they say sometimes.
Okay. Um, Chad asked, if you could have two guys from this past year's team, who would you bring back?
Ooh, that's tough. James Melindy. And then I got to pick one more. That's tough because I've been playing with guys for so many years. I guess I just have to go with our original core. I'm just going to go ahead and say three guys. I'm going to go with Darian Plouffe, Zach O'Brien, and James Melindy, just because that's our original core kind of from the year that we won. And I mean, as you've seen now, Plouffe is heading overseas, Obi's heading overseas, and we're still waiting to hear about Mel. So it's, yeah, I just take those three right now. And then, I mean, I feel like I could take anyone. I get along with everyone. It's not hard for me to get along with anyone. I can pretty much get along with the insole of a shoe. So, yeah, love my team, but I guess I'll just start with my core and then we'll go from there.
Okay. How many goals do you think you could score this year?
That's tough.
How many? You got what? How many last year?
I think I had 31 last year.
Do you think you break that?
I don't know. It's hard to say. I was very fortunate to get the opportunities I did under Welly and Nate these past 2 years. Even going back from the last year with them coming on board and into this year, there's a lot of chances to kind of just be myself again. I probably haven't had this kind of opportunity since juniors. It feels like in the sense of offensive output anyway. I mean, going in every year, it's the same start for me. It's get rid of the zeros as soon as possible. So fill in the goals column, fill in the assist column, and fill in the PIMs. Get like get a few numbers in each thing right away, and go from there. And then after that, it's just trying to contribute. Every night, try to be a more consistent player. So I don't really plan to get a certain amount of goals. I just try to stay true to who I am and work hard. And every now and then you're going to get rewarded. So I'm just trying to build off that and just stay consistent, whether it's goals, assists, or just good play that helps getting wins at the end of the day.
Okay. Now, you have probably have some kids that are big fans of yours. They want
Mhm.
to go into pro hockey. What would you tell them to work on and work towards?
I mean, at the end of the day, it is having fun. You look kind of the kids coming up now. It's playing other sports. It's not always hockey every day. I mean, for me personally, I even like going back to last summer. I used to work out 5 6 days a week. I think I probably took almost every Friday off last year. I'd go on a hike. I'd do something different. I look forward to kind of getting out to the outdoors on a Friday to set up my weekend. It's just having fun. I always say just it's good sleep, good nutrition. It doesn't mean don't if kids probably want to have McDonald's and whatnot. I mean, I'm not saying don't have that every now and then. It's not a bad thing to have a cheat meal. Keeps your mind fresh, but just getting outdoors, having fun, being a kid. Really, I mean, there's no rush. It doesn't matter if you start at 5 or 10. I feel like you can kind of make it as long as you stay true to yourself along the way. Another thing for me is just if you're doing all the right things away from the rink and at the rink and just doing the little things when no one's watching. At the end of the day, I mean, look at me now. I'm in the ECHL. I'm probably, the chances of being in the American League full time are probably really slim now. The NHL is, far out. But at the end of the day, I go to bed, and sleep comfortably, knowing that I did put in the effort. I put in the time, and I did work as hard as I could, and it just wasn't cut out for me. But I am happy where I'm at now. I've had some pretty successful years. I got a college degree now, so to say that is just put in all the effort that you can. Just if you feel like you want to do a couple extra reps here and there, then do it. Just give it your all. And at the end of the day, like I said, I can look in the mirror and know that I did what I could. I didn't make it, and that's okay. You get to my point now, but there's other things in life too outside of hockey, and for me, that's just being outdoors and enjoying time with family and friends. You kind of get to know that as you get a little bit older. But those are just some things that I guess I could kind of touch on. But have fun at the end of the day. If you're not having fun, it's probably not for you, and that's okay. There's so many other sports out there. There's so many, whether you want to get into music, space, anything. There's so many opportunities out there, and hockey isn't the only one. I've been fortunate that hockey's kind of been front and center for me my entire life, where I've learned a lot of qualities and met a lot of good people that I'll have friends for life. But yeah, just explore, have fun, try different things, and be courageous. Go out there and do what you love to do.
Okay. Um, I have one of my own questions. What is your favorite team to play in the ECHL?
Um,
That's been so far in your career
play against, right?
played against.
Yeah. That's tough. I feel like when Trois Riviere came into the league the first year, that was fun because we hated each other. Our owner owned both teams, so that was like a natural rivalry. Um, so I would say like them, but then last year, obviously, with all the injuries and the Montreal kind of gutting them a little bit, they kind of fell out of a playoff race. So the games didn't seem as intense as they were in the past. And then you get your Reading matchup where that kind of just happened from having to play them all the time in the playoffs. And then I probably would say, I guess, just Florida. I really enjoy the rivalry that we built. We've had to play them 3 times now. When we beat them, we won, and they beat us the last 2 times, and they won. So it's kind of just a love hate relationship. You have a lot of respect for what they do over there, but you hate them because you got to play them and you got to get through them to win a Kelly Cup. So I'd say those are some of the teams. Even like a team like Toledo, we saw them after Christmas, or Cincy, kind of teams that are always in the mix. You really appreciate what they've done over the years, and the organizations of how they built up. So I feel like I can kind of say something about a little bit of everything, but I guess I should just say at this point, I'd say Florida. When you go down there, you get a little sun too. That's always nice. If it's in season, maybe get down to the ocean. But yeah, I enjoy the rivalries within and just competing against the guys.
Okay. Who was your favorite hockey player when you were growing up?
Growing up, favorite hockey player is Michael Compon from back home. That's why I actually wore 17. And then Patrick Sharp, who played for the USHL Thunder Bay Flyers at the time. Sharpie was always like, just a kind of overall well-rounded player. And then growing up, obviously looking up to him, kind of what he did in the community. This community visits was something that I kind of take pride in now, and he's kind of one of the reasons why, anyway, that I kind of do what I do. But those were my two favorites growing up.
Okay. Now, Newfoundland, you're basically on the island, correct? When you're playing there,
Yep, yeah, you got to take a boat or a plane to get here, or you
so
get to drive on the boat, and you can get here by a car. But
does because ECHL, you guys, travel a lot to certain areas. Um, does that affect you at all with getting ready for a game prep and stuff like that? If like different time zones or long flights, or if you guys travel?
yeah, I feel like it becomes an advantage. Maybe like for me, it's a delay now is normal for me. Lost luggage, that's normal for me. Um, maybe when we get the younger guys here at the beginning of the year, it's a little bit of a shock. The hour and like I'm an hour and a half ahead of you right now. We got our own time zone, but yeah, over the year, I think it becomes an advantage, whereas teams aren't used to it. Maybe they get the delays, maybe they come in late, maybe they come the day of a game. They're not used to it. They got to do the time change. We usually travel the day before, like most teams do anyway. We have no choice. We leave at like 5 a.m. Our flights are usually 5 a.m. on a Thursday, and away we go, and we get in at like 5 p.m. at night. So it's usually a long day, but it just becomes kind of a normal for us. And like I said, it's more of an advantage maybe when teams are coming here. We got a lovely street over there called George Street that likes to suck some fellas in. But other than that, I don't mind it. I like to take it as an advantage, especially come playoffs. I feel like it could really, affect some guys. For us playing the structure we played it, the playoffs. Playing three on the road, four at home. Being able to get a game or two on the road and then having four straight at home. It's got to be a little depleting for a visiting team, but like just little things like that with travel, the sleep, the time zone, all the food, even different kind of food out here. If guys are having seafood, that could affect your stomach just based on like what you've been eating all the time. So just different things. I think it's more of an advantage than a disadvantage, especially as the year goes on.
Okay. How would you explain the home energy at the it's Mary Brown Center, right?
Yep.
Did I say that correctly? How do you explain your fan base and their energy when you guys hit that ice every night?
Yeah, it's good. I feel like we're kind of like the big cheese on the province here right now. Obviously, there's a basketball team here too, but in the wintertime, it's kind of one of the only things to really do. I know there's a lot of minor league sports around here and whatnot, but no, it's good to have the fans here. They're passionate. There's been, I feel like, a team here for many years now. So it's nice. I mean, like I said, it's good to have a good crowd. When we get the big crowds, it's even better. It's like a seventh man in the stands. Sometimes they can call a penalty for us, or know get us going after a big goal. But no, I love having fans. Love the fans here. I've got to know a lot of them over the last 5 years now. It almost feels more of like a family than fans or friends. It's pretty tight knit group. We have passionate fans too, so I know they get on us when we lose and whatnot, or but that's just the way she goes, and it's part of the business. So you take that as well.
So it's a great atmosphere, and your fans always behind you and they tell you when you're doing good and doing bad,
Yeah,
just
I
like
think
just
yeah,
like
no,
every fan base.
yeah, like we trust me, when we lose, we know we lost. We have a flat game, we know we're flat. It's no sometimes it just happens, and it's not like you want to lose games. It's not like you don't want to score. It's not like you don't want to put in an effort in. It could be related to a lot of different things. Maybe there's guys playing injured. Maybe there's a sickness going through the team. Maybe you had a long travel day. Maybe it could be anything. You know what I mean? It's yeah. We don't go on the ice trying to lose. We want to win every game. I mean, with the help that we get from Toronto here too, it's I feel like maybe our team more than some others will be disappointed after every single loss. It's we have a high expectation here, and we go into every game thinking that we can win, no matter who's in our lineup, no matter who's called up or sent down, injured or whatnot. So more times than not, we are disappointed with a loss. Sometimes you can play really well and you don't win, and that's just hockey. That's the way she goes sometimes. But that's what the playoffs are for, and that's why you get a best of seven. So if something like that does happen, you do get a rebound game. But yeah, no, it's fun. It's a good spot. Like I said, hockey's alive and well here. Uh, you know, just even going out, it's kind of funny. I make jokes now. I can kind of get away. moving around town right now because my beard isn't, on my face, so I can kind of hide and slither around some people sometimes, just to kind of go on about my day. But that's what I said. Like they're passionate here, and it's nice chatting with them throughout the city every now and then as well.
That's good. Um, what is your favorite NHL team? I don't know if you have one or not, but I don't remember.
I grew up a big Red Wings fan. I was a big goalie fan growing up for whatever reason. Never played it. Big Dominic Hasek fan. So when went to the Red Wings was kind of when I followed them, and I followed them for years. I watched a lot of games when I was at RET school there. Watched a lot of Red Wings games there. I think it was when I became, pro at the ECHL level. I didn't really watch as much because we're playing just as much as they are. And then once I came out here, it kind of just root for the Leafs now in the sense that in the organization when we're winning and everyone's doing well, like everyone's happy. And then seeing guys move on to the Marlies and the Leafs, like you want them to do well. So I kind of just naturally cheer for our organization now because you want everyone from top to bottom to have success, and you really feel like a three-tier system here with the Growlers. So yeah, always rooting for the Leafs now. It's like I said. I mean, I'm always keeping an eye on the Red Wings, see what they're doing, especially with Stevie Y back. That was what I was hoping for a long time was that he would come back, and so that's going to be good for them. They're starting to load up again. But when teams like that the Red Wings that are always in the mix are kind of out, you want to see them back in. You want to see those original teams, always in the running. So yeah, cheer for the Leafs now.
So was when you got called up to the AHL, is there a huge difference in speed in the passing and game strategy at all? Is because I talked to I don't know if you remember Brandon Caso, who used to be a goalie for Thunder. He was
Mhm.
in UW sometimes, and he talked about how cleaner the passes are and everything else. Did you have any issues adjusting to playing up there at all? And what was the difference between the A and the E?
Um, I really didn't find it for me. I just being an older guy, I didn't find it like I kind of I go to the Marlies camp every year. I kind of know like what they're expected. I would say the American League's a lot more it's detailed. With line matches and kind of like the instructions and kind of things and tasks that you gotta do out on the ice. I would say it was. I don't know if it would say it's easier. It felt easier in the sense that the passes were better. The speed's there and whatnot. Um, the guys are obviously big and strong, but I would say guys are big and strong on our level. But I just felt like everyone was doing their job. If everyone is just doing their job all the time, so there wasn't much margin for error. Otherwise, it's in the back of your net. Maybe there wasn't as many like odd man rushes as there would be at the ECHL level. It's a lot more structured, where it's kind of a grind, wear and tear, and grind down low and work it up high and get pucks to the net, still make plays and whatnot. I just thought it was easy in the sense that kind of everyone knows where they need to be at all times. It's I remember specifically coming back because I was playing center that game, standing for like a pop play from the D man, and it was just a battle. Maybe in the ECHL level, you get away with diving in and trying to take it, or maybe getting on the cheat. Some players might do. Not saying I would do that because I don't want to get benched, but I just stood there. I was probably 5 to 10 seconds, but eventually, like we ended up winning the battle, and the puck came to me, and out we went out to the weak side. Boom, away we went down the other way. And I just remember just being like guys doing their jobs and being in the spots all the time. There was never really a weak link, sort of say. It was just structured, um, working hard. Speed. I guess the speed is probably up. Things happen a little bit quicker. Passes are better. Whatnot. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, I could see how it could be adjustment for obviously younger players. I've been fortunate enough to just kind of play with a lot of different players over the years, do a lot of Marlies camps, and kind of know what was expected and what I was getting into when I got up there. So just try to have fun. Um, you know, cheer when I was on the bench and just keep the boys up and just kind of get to play with some of the guys that were here again. Was nice, but overall, it was a cool experience.
It was against Hartford, wasn't it?
Yeah, Hartford, we lost in overtime 2-1. We scored a late one to tie it. That game, I felt like it was just like a log jam. It was just back and forth of kind of, wouldn't say nothing. It was structured and it was two really good teams, competing against each other. So there wasn't a lot of room for, grade A plus scoring chances.
Yeah, because I remember watching that game, and my girlfriend comes up to me and she goes, "Why are you watching Toronto game? If I don't like Toronto." I go, "I don't. Never said I didn't like Toronto. I go, I'm a Devils fan all the way down, but
Yeah.
Todd's playing, and I want to see Todd play." She's like, "Who's Todd?" I go, "He plays in the minor. He's a good player. He's a good guy." But I have one more question for you, then I'll let you go because I know you're a busy man. Um, who do you? I forgot how I was going to say this. Who do you think could win the Stanley Cup next year? I just like who would with teams rebuilding and stuff like that right now. Who do you think has a good chance?
I I don't follow it like I used to,
Mhm.
but I will say like it's just I feel like the Leafs have kind of always. I'm just gonna go with the Leafs just because I'm being biased a little bit. I just feel like they've always kind of been kicking at the can. Obviously, they have the offensive kind of output there. I think adding guys like Bert and Domi there add a lot of grit and a lot more to the lineup. Hopefully, they lock in Nylander and Amats. I just think they have a little bit better of a dynamic maybe for playoffs now. I'm sure they're not done yet, but I just think the additions that they made over the past week or so have made them a little bit better. And like I said, it's been like if you look at the playoffs, like it sometimes it's getting a tough draw. Like I feel like you never want to play. I mean, Bruins ended up getting upset this year, but you never want to play a Bruins even if they just squeak in. You know what I mean? If the Bruins, I always say like I said it the other day, like the Bruins, like the Florida Everblades. Florida finished fourth in the division, I think, maybe like seventh in the conference to make the playoffs. Doesn't matter where Florida finishes in the playoffs or the Bruins, for example. They just got to make the playoffs and they have an opportunity because they know how to play in the playoffs. They're built for the playoffs. I feel like teams that kind of always are in the mix are teams that just got to get in. So I feel like there's so many good hockey players now and so many good teams that it is kind of a crapshoot. I feel like in that sense that it doesn't really like teams are going to be have better players maybe at whatnot, but it's playing a team game at that time. I mean, you look at Vegas; it was just a complete team effort. They didn't really have any superstars. Obviously, they're superstars in the National Hockey League, but they didn't have just a one Connor McDavid or a Draisaitl. Like they had a complete team. I think when you have a complete roster like that, I think you have a better opportunity to win because you can't really just shut down one guy. You got to shut down four lines. And but I'm hoping, just with the changes that the Leafs made and who they brought in, and maybe some changes they're making, I just, for our organization's sake, I hope that they win. I know, I know Toronto's a tough fan base. That's what I'm realizing ever since I started cheering for them. That everyone rides the highs and lows. And when they're high, they're high. When they're low, like they're really low. So I hope for their sake that they get pulling off here because there's a lot of good people within that organization. Obviously, I know because I've been around them, and I'm always rooting for them, hoping that they can get a cup because I know how special that'd be for them, the city, the country, and every Leafs fan across the globe. So I'm hoping, and I'm just gonna say that it's the Leafs year.
Well, I want to thank you for your time today. I know you're a busy man, and the time difference it didn't really bother me just waking up early because I have to work today. But I'm up
Yeah,
early any day, so I
you
want
can
to
have a
thank I want to thank you for coming on. Hope to talk to you again soon, and good luck on the season this year.
yeah. Thank you for all your support, and it was fun. Maybe we'll get on here again soon.
Would love that. Thank you.
Thank you.